Hi guys. I haven't recorded a video in a very long time, but I did say I would record one for the issue on Begin Bilumbedzi, as well as the 31st July protest of Zimbabwe. I've received a lot of criticism from South Africans who are claiming that we're getting ourselves involved in Zimbabwe's issues, whereas we haven't solved our own issues, and to them it doesn't make sense. And I've just got one request. I'm just going to ask for you guys, when we speak, to please listen to what we say as a movement. Don't dilute it with things that other people say or whatever the case might be. Because I've seen a lot of people claiming that, for example, we said that all immigrants must leave the country, whether documented or undocumented. Some of them have claimed that we have been promoting violence. There's a lot of things, which obviously we can't deal with propaganda and misinformation now. There's a lot going on, which is why I'm asking you guys, when we speak, listen to what we say as a movement. Don't listen to what people say we said, If there's no evidence of us saying it, please don't listen to it, okay? So here's the point of what I'm saying. From inception, from the get-go, from day one, we have always been consistent in the principle that we do not want any immigrants who are leaving this country, from any country for that matter, especially African countries, to leave and then leave in body bags, for example. We want them to leave in peace, and we want them to leave. And when they leave, the message remains: they go home and they fix their countries. That has always been the message. It's been consistent. It's never changed. So we're not saying go home in Zimbabwe and starve. We're not saying go home and start doing crime. That's not what we want. We're saying, when you go to your country, go home, fix your country, make sure that it works, not just for you, but for the future of that country, your children, and also of the entire continent, because that's the objective of what we want to achieve. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact that we want illegal immigrants to go. We want foreigners to go who are in the country fraudulently, who are here using the wrong reasons, who are committing crimes and all of those things. We insist on that. That doesn't change, because our country can't be a playground for all kinds of people who have messed up their own countries and now want to come to South Africa and bring that entire mess here. We've seen the many incidents that people are trying to gaslight us about when it comes to the issue of foreigners and illegal immigrants and the behavior that they have in our country. We've seen zamazamas and the destruction that they've brought to our communities, to families, and we've seen even the drug dealers who are thriving in communities. We've seen the hijacked buildings. We've seen the crime. We've seen even the labor laws being broken in the country, where modern day slavery has become a thing. But that does not mean that we do not want them to go back to their countries and fix their country. Now, the important thing about Zimbabwe is that Zimbabweans are fighting an oppression that we also know and we see. And some of them are here running away from that very same problem, which is what we are advocating for Zimbabweans to stop doing. You can't keep running away from your problems because you're saying you don't have freedom in your country. South Africans had to die for this country to be where it is today. And one of the other things that I did mention was the fact that, if Black people can fight, oppression, colonialism. I know Zimbabwe was the first country to actually get its independence in Africa. So if they were able to do that, and they were able to thrive and overcome all of that, why can't they now fight the same oppression just by a different skin color? So do we only see oppression when it comes from white people, even when our own people who are Black like us are oppressing us? We're saying we're going to fold our arms and act like we're helpless. That's not what we want. We want Zimbabweans to go to Zimbabwe, and whatever oppression, whatever issues that they feel they need to fight against, they must fight against. We are saying that our only role is to support. We can't go to Zimbabwe and fight for Zimbabweans, but we want Zimbabweans to fight whatever it is that they feel they need to fight, and we have to offer them protection. Now, if they feel that they don't have protection from their own government, and that includes them being persecuted or abused in any manner, then we need to step up as brothers and sisters. That is what it means to be a brother and sister. It doesn't mean that we're going to neglect our own fights and saying that Zimbabweans who are in South Africa illegally must go and fight for their country or and fight against their government. That's not what it means. It means that we're saying those that are still in the country legally must not find comfort. They must go back and face whatever demons that they're facing, instead of letting those who are in Zimbabwe fight alone, because it doesn't make sense. Unless Zimbabweans come together and unite and fight whatever issues that they face, whatever oppression that they face, they're never going to win the fight. But also, we can't sit back and say we want them to be persecuted or face all kinds of problems when we have an ability to help them. So we can use our social media, we can use our voices, we can use whatever we want to use to make sure that the plight of Zimbabweans is echoed, and whatever it is that they're facing becomes less of a burden for the people who are in Zimbabwe. And that is why I'm standing up right now and I'm saying that the government of Zimbabwe must free Begin Mbedzi, because that man is one of the bravest people that I know. He stood there when everyone was busy criticizing South Africa and saying, no, South Africans are this and that. He stood firm and said that South Africans are not doing anything wrong. They're protecting their country. And we must come to Zimbabwe and do the same. And he didn't just end there. He actually came together with Zimbabweans who know what they want and who know what they want their country to be like. And they decided that they're going to set a date, which is the 31st of July, because they want to stage a protest. Now, nobody deserves to be abused and tortured and treated like they're a criminal just because they want to protest, and peacefully, because we promote peaceful protests ourselves. Now, we're seeing a lot of, threats and a lot of abuse going to people of Zimbabwe who are saying that they're going to be protesting on the 31st of July. And we've also seen Begin Mbedzi being arrested for that. And it's absolutely heart-wrenching to see Zimbabweans who are outside of South Africa, who are in the diaspora, pretending as if this issue is not happening. So we have to step up and say that there needs to be justice served. People cannot be stopped from protesting peacefully. They're not saying they're going to go there, they're going to start burning things, they're going to start killing people, they're going to start whatever. They're saying they want to make their voices heard in their streets, in their own country. And it cannot be fair that the government does that. And our government is always acting like they're the big brother of Africa. So if you are the big brother of Africa, why are you not going to help the people of Zimbabwe and allow them to protest peacefully by telling Nangwanga to let the people of Zimbabwe protest peacefully the same way that we do here? But it only takes for the people of Zimbabwe to stand up for themselves as well. And we can only support what they start. Because we cannot start something for you and then be at the forefront of it, because you are the ones that know what problems we face. And we are 100% willing to support, because we want Africa to work for all the people in Africa. We only just don't want South Africa to be bearing a burden of countries that it shouldn't be bearing. And I also saw that there's a lot of other Zimbabweans who are criticizing us and saying that we are not going to get involved in their stories. Why are we getting involved in their things and their issues, etc.? And I only have one thing to say. We did not ask Zimbabweans to come to South Africa. You came to our country and you made yourselves our problem. So now if solving the problem means that we have to make sure that your problems are solved so that you can go back home, then we're going to solve the problems. So the day you decided to come into our country illegally and you didn't ask us for permission, you came. We're also not asking you for permission. We're going to solve the problems so that the problems are solved and they can go and solve their problems. Otherwise, if we continue making this about feelings, it'll never be solved. Because a lot of you like saying that this is about South Africans not hating you, and you know the truth. You know the truth. You know that's not even true. You know that's not true. But we are not negotiating anymore, unfortunately. We're just going to do what has to be done because the problem needs to be solved. If we had done this based on how people feel, then I'm telling you, much and much wouldn't be standing today, because people have felt a lot of things about us, including extreme hatred. Some people have even tried getting rid of us by all means possible. But at the end of the day, we remain firm on principle, because we know at the end of the day, for South Africa to survive, this has to be done. It's not about hatred. And we are not going to be explaining this anymore, unfortunately, because we can't watch our country crumble while we say and make this about feelings. So, Begimpilo Mbetsi must be free in Zimbabwe. And you Zimbabweans have a duty to free yourselves and to stand up for yourselves and your children and their future. There's no other way. That's the only Pan-Africanism that we want.